Hi, welcome back to Yeti Kitchen. Today we're back making some elk stew, nice hearty, warming elk stew. First thing we're going to do is heat up our pan and sear off our meat. You don't want to crowd it too much, you want to give it some space so it doesn't steam. We're going to add some salt, pepper, and a little bit of white pepper, which is completely optional. We're going to give it another little jostle. We're almost there. We don't want to fully cook the meat because we want some of those juices to be released in the braising process. This is kind of what we're looking for. Just a light sear. Now let's take it out and put it in another dish while we cook our onions and our garlic. I chose to use red onion, but you can use any onion you wish. Throw in our mushrooms and our garlic. Give that a little jostle. You just want it to be cooked down a bit so the onions are a bit translucent and there's a bit of a sheen on everything. Next up, 1 teaspoon of rosemary, 1 teaspoon of thyme. Basically, any aromatics you want to add, I would recommend adding at this point. Throw in our carrots. And again, we don't want to fully cook the carrots, we just want to soften them up slightly. Now let's deglaze with some red wine. 2 cups of red wine is what I use. You can use a little more or a little less. I like to have a nice bold red wine flavor. Next, we're going to add in our meat and any juices that came out of it. Bring that up to a boil, and let that wine cook down a bit. Next, we'll be using our spices, where I use 1 tablespoon paprika, 1 teaspoon of cayenne, half teaspoon of allspice, half teaspoon of mustard powder, and 1.5 tablespoons of poultry seasoning. Give that a good mix. Next up is our broth. I chose to use chicken stock. I'd recommend a beef stock if you have it. Add a little more pepper and a little more salt. Let's throw in our potatoes, which do absorb some of the saltiness, so you might want to taste and add a bit more salt. Let's cover it up and throw it in the oven for 2.5 hours. After 2.5 hours, you're going to have something like this. Nice, delicious, tender meat with a nice, thick gravy base. As you can see, we didn't use any flour, we just let it cook down and let our ingredients absorb that. Oh, and here we are. A delicious, warm, and hearty bowl of elk stew for a frigid, frosty day. Thank you again for joining me today on Yeti Kitchens. You can always catch me here on YouTube, on Rumble, or even Twitch, where I sometimes cook recipes live. I hope you're having a great holidays, and I hope to see you next time on Yeti Kitchens.